Welcome back. Direct Selling Shift, Blake here. Can I just say that last week's episode was absolute fire? I am not just saying that. I love all of our conversations. I am loving the insight, the inspiration, the perspective that we are getting from all of our guests. So many different backgrounds, different organizations, different styles, all united on the same mission and all showing up here to pour into you, the community around the world that is expanding this channel. And all our conversations, hey, they fire me up. I'm biased. But I will say, last week's was special. I'm actually coming off a large industry event last week. There were about 100 or so of the larger direct selling companies in the room represented by certain executives. And I had a bunch of people stop me outside the room, come up, say they're enjoying Shift, talk about the episodes and a lot of the guests. Side note, thank you all for the support. It's awesome to see these conversations starting to get traction. So each and every one of you, thank you for showing up. Thank you for being here. And thank you not only for coming here to get what you need to take your community to a next level, that's the ripple, that's the impact, but for sharing the show, because that's how we reach even more people. Side note, we did just make sharing the show a little easier for you. If you haven't dropped by recently, check out our updated website, directsellingshift.com. Easy to remember, name of the show, directsellingshift.com, and you can see all the episodes there. And if you click on any of your favorite episodes, you can have easy access, one little click the icon, to all of the places each episode is streaming on. We're on all the places. I think podcast on Apple still seems to be the most popular. Spotify, though, catching up. A lot of views on YouTube. You can catch the videos. So easy way to share the show, directsellingshift.com, all the episodes there. And we're going to be bringing online some new social channels soon at Direct Selling Shift. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. We're coming online, and a lot of great content with a lot of the guests. So making it simpler to share the show. But in that event, and over the last week, I had people stop me. I've had people message me. I've gotten the DMs. I've gotten text messages. And I have had, I'm not making this up, I'm not exaggerating, a lot of people say that last week's episode was one of the best. And I got to agree. So hopefully you caught the entire episode. Last week, we did catch up with the exceptional Andrea Gebhardt. She is in her 11th year in this channel. Such a wealth of experience she poured into us. I loved her background professionally in the education space to the highest level. And now in this channel as one of the top earners and top performers in her company, a mom of 4, someone who has a ton of gifts and a ton of talents. And you could tell she's a teacher, not just by trade, but she's a teacher as a leader in this career path. You could tell by the way she communicated, the way she articulated. I am a fan. And man, we had some real-time ahas. I'm talking some shifts in the moment. If you didn't catch the entire episode, rewind, go back to last week. I mean, that is one you're going to want to listen to again and again to get all of the insight that Andrea poured into us. But this is a shift summary where every other week we look back, rewind, and have a chance just to reflect on a couple of the key themes. A couple of the big takeaways, right? Those $1 million moments, those light bulb ahas, the themes or the patterns that we're seeing and feeling in these dialogues as a way, yes, to remind us, but also as a way to hold us accountable so we're not just showing up and listening and letting these podcasts go in one ear and out the other. That's not the point. That's not why we're here. That's not why you're here. We're here for more. You're here for more. We deserve more, which means we have to make sure we are applying this information to our business, to our teams, to our communities, to our lives. That's why we're here. That's what this is about. And that's why we do these shift summaries. Nice little checkup from the neck up to make sure that we are implementing, taking action, and moving these insights forward into our communities. So 3 things, which was hard because last week's conversation was pretty awesome. But 3 key shifts I want to highlight on our shift summary today. Starting with shift number 1, really had to do with this theme of shifting from the educational system to the entrepreneurial system. And yes, this is because, well, Andrea actually came from the educational system as a teacher, someone who had a master's degree, someone whose aspiration was to go all the way to the top of that ladder. But here's the reality. We all came from that system. So often in the classroom, we're taught what to think. Whereas an entrepreneur, it's not about what to think. It's about learning how to think. Right? In the classroom, we're taught about memorizing. We're taught that we have to know everything. But as an entrepreneur, it's not about knowing everything. It's about having a spirit of curiosity, a willingness to try. Matter of fact, there's a big difference between learning. You can learn from a book. You can learn from this conversation, right? We can learn, right, by absorbing, but to truly know, knowing comes from applying. Knowing comes from experience. You know, in the classroom, we're taught that making mistakes is bad. Oh, that red pen. You guys remember that red pen? Those X's, right? We're taught that if we mess up and we don't get things perfect or 100%, we're failing. And this is embedded in all of us, this really skewed, messed up perception that like making mistakes is wrong, that like messing up is bad, and that failing a task makes us feel like failures in life. Man, is that just the wrong perspective. And we need to shift in business and in life, right? Messing up is a stepping stone to the future. Our past guests have given us so many different language or words around it to use our setbacks as our setups, right? To use our obstacles as our opportunities, right? We have to go through and be willing to take a swing, right? To be able to try. And if we're not messing up, we're not putting ourselves out there. We're not outside our comfort zone. But that's not what business is about. Matter of fact, excelling as an entrepreneur, excelling in this business, it's not about fixing weakness. It's about strengthening strength. It's about tapping into what you are naturally good at, what resonates, what lights you up, what gets you excited, what gifts that you've been given in order to give to the world. You have all of that. And as an entrepreneur, doubling down on your strengths, strengthening your strengths, staying in your gift zone, focusing, right, on the gifts you've been given, that is what's going to set yourself on fire and create an energy that's going to translate to others in your prospecting conversations, your customer conversations, your community conversations, team building conversations. It is a shift from a mindset that was given to us in the educational world to becoming an entrepreneur, which is what you are building your direct selling business today. So we need to make the shift from this educational structure to the mindset that it takes to really be and excel as an entrepreneur today. Oh, by the way, that's why we're here. It's why you're here. That's what we're doing. We're helping you make those shifts. Shift number 2, though, this was a mic drop. This was a light bulb moment. Shift number 2 is all around this theme of shifting our focus from self to focus on service. And that is so important. Shifting from this self-focus to this service focus. And I love how in our dialogue, it kind of unfolded naturally. We kind of went into a history lesson. So for all of you that maybe are newer to this channel and haven't been around as long as some of us have here, let me give you a rewind and a quick history lesson to create the context that explains so eloquently the environment we're all in right now, what we're experiencing. You see, guys, this style of marketing, it's been around a long time. I don't know the actual start date, but let's call it like 100 years from its original roots. Like we're talking way back. And for the majority of the entire history of this style of business, direct sales, direct selling, community marketing, all the terms, it's always been built on the principle of building people. And for so long, that is what built the foundation and the fabric of the style of marketing. A personal growth program with a compensation plan, building people to build the business for so long. And then prior to pandemic, really with the onslaught of social media and first Facebook going mainstream, but then obviously Instagram over to TikTok, we got these new tools, these new ways for us to connect, a new, more efficient way to go meet and create conversations with more people more effectively. And with the access to this new technology came a pendulum swing where the strategies and the tactics and the marketing shifted to social media, rightfully so. And as social media started to unfold, really this new conversation of you as a brand, being a personal brand, you as yourself online and how you're showing up as a way to create online attraction has become the normal conversation. Marketing today, it's been the conversation now for the last few years. And now we're in this stage post-pandemic where we have this disconnection, where there's an over-focus on self and maybe a disconnection from the service-based culture and value system that has made this channel what it is today. I love how Andrea said that people are not ours to keep, but in the time where we have the privilege of having people in our lives, we got to make sure we're doing our best to serve and add value and grow and develop and appreciate. Because it's true, all relationships have a deadline. They all have an end. Nothing is forever. So we got to make this shift and go back to prioritizing building our people. And she said it. I heard the gulp. I heard the gulp out there from all the listeners where Andrea said something. Look, if you're spending more time building your brand than you are building your people, you're disconnected. Let's get back to the core values that built the foundation of this business, the core values of why you're here. You're here because someone poured into you and believed in you. And we need to make sure in leading others, we pay that forward to our team and have a service-driven mindset. So we got to make the shift from self back to service. Now, I know what you're thinking. That's why I'm going to go into shift number 3. So shift number 3 that we also went into in this conversation, I love how Andrea put it. It's about both and. Both and. So do not misunderstand me because let's face it, the personal brand, personal content, the strategies the last few years have been taught online, they work. They work, but the importance is understanding the intention. So it's not about a about face. It's not about a total rewind. It's about a both and. It's the old school and the new school, right? It's the offline and the online. It's the high touch and the high tech. It's the high level of attraction and the deep level of connection. You see, it's about taking the principles and the foundation of the past that got us here, times now the technology and the new age attraction that is allowing us to scale. And it's about taking the best of both worlds, the then and the now, into a whole new model, a whole new hybrid, a whole new future that will create a whole new type of acceleration in your business, in your income, in your company, in our channel. And that's what makes the period we're in right now so exciting. Is these revelations, these aha, these conversations of how we have the convergence coming together. And I'm telling you, we're hearing these. If you're following the show, if you're listening to the conversations, you can pick up the breadcrumbs. You can connect the dots. It's these worlds coming together to create a whole new world that is the future. It's your solution. It's your strategy. It's your path, right, to your goals and your dreams and what you're building right now in your business. So as Andrea said, let's get reconnected to those initial motivations and reasons that you started your business, right? Let's make sure we're prioritizing your personal values, your purpose, right, in your business. It's about collaboration across the community, not competition. And let's make sure we make these shifts. So that's my challenge for you this week. Hey, let's throw away that old educational system paradigm and let's make sure that we're adopting a new entrepreneurial system paradigm. You are an entrepreneur. We got to think different. Shift number 2, we got to make the shift from this self-focus to service focus, going back to the intention and making sure you're putting more time into building your people, right? Than you are just into building yourself. And in doing so, strategically, tactly, it's a both and situation. It's not about going back, right? And it's not about just staying where we are. It's about taking the knowledge and the best of what we know, what we've done, and what we're doing, and bringing those into the future, bringing these models together. So I'm telling you, I told you, last week was off the chain. So those are the 3 shifts. Those are the Blake's takes, if you will. 3 themes that I got from my conversation with Andrea Gebhardt. Was super inspiring. Love the way she articulated. Go re-listen to the show. We are live on Apple Podcasts. We're on Spotify. We're on Audible. We're doing these videos on YouTube. So if you want to watch the show, do that. I don't care if you're walking in the morning, if you got the earbuds in your ear when you're in the gym, if you got this on audio when you're in the car, if you're in your zone, wherever it makes sense for you. Hey, Direct Selling Shift is giving you the solutions to accelerate and multiply your business. Make sure you're making this show a habit, right? A ritual on a weekly basis. New guests every other week, shift summaries, the weeks in between. Follow the show on all the platforms. And I've been getting some personal messages as, oh, this person would be great. You got to interview so-and-so. Thank you. I love all the recommendations. Your opinion does matter. A lot of the guests make their way onto the show because someone like you suggested that they would be a great person. So you can let us know at that same website I gave you earlier, directsellingshift.com. If you go to the bottom, you can nominate a guest. You can also talk about some topics that you think might be great. That stuff does matter. We do hear you, we do see you, we do listen, and would love you as the community to help us best serve you. And that's the way that you can do it. Stay tuned on social. New content coming out to make it easier to share the show. And next week, I'm telling you, we got some more fire coming. Such an extraordinary conversation. Our guest made the leap from a successful career as a market researcher, then became a stay-at-home mom for 5 years before then entering her direct selling career back in 2014. Now, a decade later, she has transformed her life. Get this, she is now earning 10 times what she earned in her normal corporate income now through her direct selling business. She shares her unique approach, tips, tactics, online social selling that are working for her in a major way. I think you're going to love her energy and love what she brings to our conversation. So do not miss our new guest coming up on Monday. Make sure you're following the show, turn on your notifications, set the reminders, add it to your calendar, and I look forward to seeing you next week on a brand new episode. Until then, let's make the shift.